Alright, good evening folks, it's Enforcer Matt and welcome back to another short war video, and today we have very big news coming out of both Russia and also Ukraine. But by far our biggest story of the morning is we've seen a large-scale Ukrainian drone attack launched on the Russian Federation, and it looks like the largest of the targets which Ukraine struck was the largest Russian oil and gas seaport right near St. Petersburg, and that was an 800-kilometer flight for those drones flying all the way from Ukraine to strike it, and we do have the video evidence this morning showing the strikes actually taking place on the facility itself. We also saw some drone strikes on a Russian missile manufacturing plant which manufactures Russian missile parts, and also a Russian airfield as well housing crucial Russian aircraft. So we saw a slew of drone attacks this morning, and we have all the video evidence to show you in just a moment. We also have another big story as well coming out of Denmark. Apparently some mysterious drones showed up around Copenhagen. The drones were spotted by police officers and also civilians, and they sped off at high speed toward the sea, and nobody's really sure what that was about, but they're currently investigating it and trying to figure out if their airspace was intruded by maybe a hostile force. But with that, we are jumping into our first post of the day, which goes to OSINT Technical. And this was a hell of a strike in our first story right here. We can see that this morning, Ukrainian attack drones successfully penetrated over 800 kilometers of Russian airspace and struck Russia's Ust-Luga gas export terminal on the Baltic coast. And at least one drone hit the plant's refining unit, which was a crucial hit for the Ukrainians to actually be able to take out a large part of this facility. And we did see that on video. So let's take a look at our first one and see the extent of the drone impact. So right there you can see there goes the drone. It impacted right on the refining capability of the actual plant itself, and you can hear in the background, you can probably hear there is some gunfire back there. That sounds to be maybe the only air defense that they actually had right there next to the refining facility itself. So the Russians claim they shot down a good portion of the drones flying toward it, but the one that really counted, the one going right for the main part of the plant, was not shot down, and we did see an impact right there on it. So that will cause some extreme damage to the facility and perhaps knock it out for some time. Maybe perhaps a week or two, or maybe even longer than that. So we did see that this morning, and we got proof of it. But moving on here to our next post, to get some more detail, we have a post from OSINT Yuri. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is the largest commercial oil and gas seaport that Russia has, and it's a Novotrans facility at the port of Ust-Luga, of course, in the Leningrad Oblast. And the local governor actually ended up claiming that all the drones got shot down. There was no damage, but we did see that there was some significant damage to the main refining unit. And as you can see right here, here's an overhead view of the satellite pictures of the facility itself. This is an extremely large facility that Russia has right here, and I think Ukraine has found an ability to go as far as 800 kilometers to actually strike this, because that was extremely long range, and we can see that was struck. And also that's the same video right there that we have in this post that we just watched a moment ago. So there you go, a massive piece of work by Ukraine. And also, to give you an idea of just how far that is, we do have a Google map showing the distance itself. And taking a look right here, you can see that it's about 739 miles according to the measurement here, and you see if the drones were launched from Ukraine down here near Poltava perhaps, or maybe even a little further over toward Kyiv maybe, it looks like they travel about 740 miles all the way up here to the area in which the facility was located, which is right up here in Ust-Luga, right outside of St. Petersburg. So once again, an extremely long range strike, and a very notable one that Ukraine launched this morning. But with that, we are now moving on to our next post here, and this one goes to Null Reports, and we also got reports of another target by the UAVs flying from Ukraine, and we saw that overnight UAVs struck the Avangard plant in Smolensk, part of one of Russia's largest missile building holdings, and the facility produces launch containers and solid fuel rocket engine casings, and that was indeed struck by Ukrainian attack drones last night. So let's take a look at these videos and see the extent of the damage of this facility. Alright, so taking a look here at our first video, this is someone's backyard, I believe, and they have a surveillance camera running, and you're about to see a very large explosion right there, and that was that missile manufacturing plant actually going up in blazes as a result of that Ukrainian UAV strike. So we did see that right here in this one video, and we also have a second one as well, showing someone else's surveillance camera showing the explosion in the background. So let's take a look at that one. And right here, here's the surveillance camera once again from a different angle, and you're about to see that large explosion right about right now. And there it went right back there, and that was massive once again. So apparently they had something flammable as well inside the missile manufacturing plant, outside of simply rocket casings, but we did see here some very big explosions. But moving on here to our next post, this one's going to go to Null Reports. And this is another attack that was reported this morning. However, it did happen on January the 2nd, so it did not happen this morning per se, but it was was announced this morning that there was damage and also an attack at this facility. And we can see right here that Russia reports an attack at the Voronezh Malchevo Baltimore military airfield in Voronezh on January the 2nd, and according to Astra, citing emergency services in the Voronezh region, at least 5 drones targeted the airfield, and all the drones were allegedly shot down, but the airfield hosts Russia's 47th Bomber Aviation Regiment, and once again, this was a false report. There was impacts actually on this airfield, and the Russians lied once again about actually defending the place from every single drone that was fired at it. So there was damage here. We're not sure exactly what aircraft were hit, but we will have to wait for more details to come out eventually about what was struck and what was destroyed and or damaged. But we did see a report of that this morning and confirmation that the Voronezh Malchevo airbase was attacked on January the 2nd. But with that, we are now moving on to our next post here, and this one goes to Anton Gerashenko, and we're going to switch gears for just a moment and move on to a different story that we actually heard this morning out of Denmark. We were hearing from reports that several drones were seen over the port of Voronezh, close to Copenhagen in Denmark, and the Danish police said they received a call from a witness who reported seeing up to 20 drones that disappeared into the bay, and when the police arrived, they saw 4 large drones over the marina, and no permissions were issued for drone flights in the area at the time, and the Danish police are now conducting an investigation to find out exactly what those drones were and where they came from. So it sounds to me like this is an actual corroborated sighting here of some type of unknown drone. It's unclear if it's from a hostile source or maybe it's perhaps even hobbyists flying them, but it sounds to be like these are very large drones and they caught the attention of the police enough to actually launch an investigation. So kind of concerning to see here, but in our next post, we get some more details about exactly what this was and what the police also witnessed themselves. And just to reiterate, this came from the police report itself. The caller told the police there were 20 large drones flying around the area, and the police showed up and actually witnessed 4 of them, like I mentioned, and in the police report, it said the last drones were observed around 0116, heading out to sea at high speed, and that was what the police saw themselves, is these drones, very large ones, moving out to sea very, very, very fast, and it apparently was so fast that the police are very concerned now, and they're also opening the investigation, like I mentioned. So this sounds to be very vaguely reminiscent of what was being seen over New Jersey in the United States. I'm not sure if this is directly connected or not, but it sounds vaguely familiar, and some people were reporting that maybe it looked like aircraft trying to land, but according to the police, these were not aircraft, these were drones of some sort, and according to reports as well, there was no air traffic in the area at the time of these sightings, at least according to what we've seen so far, based on some unconfirmed reports. But moving on here to our next post, this one goes to the Euromaidan Press, and we are getting some more disturbing word from NATO officials. Apparently, they think the risk of attack by Russia on a NATO ally is starting to increase extremely rapidly, and I know we reported on this a couple of days back, but it sounds like they're getting even more serious with their statements coming from NATO, and they said, quote unquote, it's not about if Russia attacks, but it's about when they try to attack. So apparently NATO thinks it's imminent, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and nobody really knows when it's going to happen, but apparently they think it is going to happen at some point, and they say it could involve up to 600,000 Russian troops. Now the only part I'm confused about is where they're getting 600,000 Russian troops from. That seems to be a very large troop deployment considering that Russia is having a manpower issue, but apparently NATO believes they can find those guys and actually put them into service and start launching an attack on a NATO member. So that is disturbing to hear once again, but not entirely shocking because we have heard this before, but it sounds like NATO is preparing for the worst. But moving on here to our next post, this one goes to the Kyiv Post. And keep in mind that Ukraine just cut off natural gas shipments from Russia to Europe through their territory just on the 1st of January. So that was just a couple of days back. And we're now hearing from the president of the unrecognized Transnistria, a pro-Russian separatist enclave in Moldova. They suggested that residents keep warm using firewood after the gas supplies were cut off by Ukraine. And this measure comes as Ukraine slammed the door on the gas on January the 1st. And earlier, the separatist region rejected Moldova's offer to assist in purchasing fuel from the European market. So in other words, they brought this on themselves. But the video right here that we have shows a local resident transporting some firewood on a bicycle. So let's take a look. We've never seen anybody transporting some firewood, so let's take a look at that. And there you have it. Look at that. It's a Transnistrian citizen going along here with a bicycle. Looks like almost like a beach bicycle. And he's carrying around a large log or some sticks or something like that. And he's carrying it back to his place to start a fire because he needs to stay warm and there's no more gas. So it looks like the Transnistrians are all gas and no brakes. Not really, but they're actually bringing some firewood though. No gas though. But there you go. That is that piece of news. And also moving on here to our last one, we did hear some more details about the story. And it looks like about 1,500 1,700 high-rise buildings in Transnistria are currently without heating and hot water, and about 72,000 homes are without gas. So quite a few people out of gas, but it sounds like Transnistria brought that on themselves as they would not cooperate with Moldova. So that's what you call screwing yourself over just to make a point. So it looks like they did that, and now the citizens are paying the price. So there you go. That is the end of that really beautiful story right there. But anyways, we are actually fresh out of news, and that was the last post of the day. And if you found today's video informative, smack that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well. And also go down to the comments below and leave a comment and say LSA down there to let us know also how much you enjoyed the video and let YouTube know that you enjoyed it as well. But with that, folks, thank you all for watching once again. And if you want to support our channel financially, you can do so on our Patreon page. The link is in the description below for Patreon, where you can go over there and sign up for a monthly membership and support the channel that way, which is a very big help as we're largely crowdfunded by the viewers, and it's you, the viewers, that make this all possible. But with that, folks, we will probably see you all tomorrow night on our stream once again after the Enforcer recovers a day once more from that cough that seemingly won't go away. But hopefully it recovers very soon, and we will be back to streaming hopefully tomorrow. But with that, folks, thank you all for watching, and bye-bye for now.